The following contains spoilers. Yeah. Hi, I'm Saraflor, and welcome to yet another video. I finished the 3.2 story, and I wanted to give my thoughts on the story and where it's going. Let's get into it. For starters, what do I think of the story? It's pretty meh, to be honest. I don't want to keep repeating myself with the problems of this game's storytelling, so to save time, it's long, there's 40 plus minutes of straight dialogue where you're not even touching the keyboard, and other issues. Now, the content itself also wasn't as interesting, but there's a lot of revelations and moments towards the middle and end of the patch. So let's talk about that. From following Anaxa, we now have a clearer picture of what the Titans are, or were. They were normal humans who went on their own flame chase journey, and together they became the current Titans Amphorius has today. What's more, the people that exist today are reincarnations of themselves from the previous era, Era Crisea. It creates an interesting dynamic here in Amphorius. The world is cyclical in nature, to the point where even people are reincarnated as themselves through the ages. Does this mean that no new life exists in Amphorius? Is someone's birth always predetermined? Do some people live in the next cycle while others stay dead? The answers to these questions will further solidify Amphorius' nature and further explain why Amphorius appears as an infinity symbol in space. With Casterus, we learn how death works in Amphorius. Death is supposed to serve as a judge for those who enter the Netherrealm. Either they rest in peace or return to the world of the living, as Death believes their role is incomplete. However, Polixia, Casterus' sister, in an effort to save her from her fate in the previous cycle, used her power as Thanatos to ensure Casterus is reborn in the next. As a result, Casterus was born with her curse and death stopped functioning properly. People still die and are carried into the River of Souls, but they aren't judged and passed on to the Netherrealm proper, until Casterus returned and succeeded Thanatos, her sister. One of the conflicts of the story is the Council of Elders versus the Chrysos heirs. The Elders want the Chrysos heirs out of the picture, and ensure that Okema is protected, regardless of what happens. Their plan was to get Thanatos' core flame and erase death from the world, and return Amphorius to the previous era. But if that happened, life would stagnate. The story goes to great lengths to teach us that without death, happiness, the urge to do better, and a desire to make something of your life wouldn't exist. So obviously, Anaxa, after Casterus succeeded in her goal, stands against the Council of Elders and votes to continue the flame chase journey, at the cost of his own life. The story is setting up something major. The destruction makes its return to the story. We're now aware that Amphorius is shackling a Lord Ravager deep within, and if Amphorius is disturbed any further, they could awaken. Hence why Lygus bade Herda to turn back. Speaking of Lygus, he is also an emanator of erudition, which explains why the erudition's presence is felt. Meanwhile, on the Express, Black Swan discovers that Fuli's cast her gaze on Amphorius once again, and March 7th's condition worsens as someone, or something, has hijacked her memories, a condition worse than just amnesia. As, if I'm understanding correctly, without the ability to remember, March 7th is practically inert. I'm glad the destruction has returned to the forefront, as Penacony didn't have any Lord Ravager or destruction, anything. We got baited by Duke Inferno, and nothing came of that, so I'm glad something's being done. It seems like the developers understand that baiting players with false promises regarding the story is not the way to go. And promo materials in and out of Amphorius tells us every setup has some kind of payoff. Let's see where this flame chase takes us next. Thanks for watching.